What is happening, and welcome to another Photography Talk episode. And you know, it actually seems like it's been a little while since I've been in front of the camera. Well, actually last week you saw a video from me, but that video was shot the week before. And you may be saying, why is that, Alex? Well, I was up at the North Rim Grand Canyon on the very remote side with actually for an entire week with the Turtleback Expedition trailers. The folks, or not Expedition trailer. So my trailer, my off-road trailer is a Turtleback Expedition trailer. I was on a Turtleback, which is the company that makes these things, herd event, which is my first herd event that I've attended. Brought Caleb out there. We had an absolute blast. We were out there for a week. Some of the most remote off-roading and overlanding that I've done. It was a lot of fun. I saw the north side of the Grand Canyon, which, holy smokes, I've seen that. I've been to the south side, which is the more public accessible, nice paved roads getting up to it. This, however, boy, you're really off grid. We were on some of the roads and trails that we were on hadn't been driven on in probably 7-10 years. Needless to say, my truck got one hell of a pinstriping. But anyways, friends, this is not going to be about the Grand Canyon. Let's shift gears here a little bit. Have you ever saw photos of the Milky Way and said, dang, I wish I could take photos just like that? Well, if you have the right gear and some critical Milky Way photography tips, you can improve your photos of the night sky. And as this video is going to demonstrate, you don't need to spend hours and hours reading photography tutorials to learn some of the essential skills. Instead, this is a no-fluff tutorial that will quickly prepare you to take great Milky Way shots. Now, my goal here is to get through this in 5 minutes. We'll see how close I can actually get to that. But before I get going with this, friends, we put these videos together like this to help you get out there and take better photos. Now, of course, if we are successful with that and you find some value with this video, look, I would greatly appreciate it if you consider hitting that like button down below, because it really does help with the whole YouTube algorithm. That said, my friends, pull up a seat and let's go. Now, the foundation for good Milky Way shots starts with planning it out. First, you want to check with dark skies on sites like Dark Sky Finder. Now, think about where you want to take the photo. How are you going to get to location and account for time for setting up your gear? Let's say, well, if you're a fast person or a slow person, whatever, let's say 30 minutes. That way you don't miss the peak time for photographing the Milky Way. You think this doesn't happen with people not planning? Go to a popular spot where you see people, going to get sunset shots. How many people do you see terracing there last minute, setting up, throwing up their gear last minute as the sun is creeping down below the horizon? Why is that? Well, they didn't plan it properly. And the same thing applies for any sort of nighttime photography as well. A fast lens with a large maximum aperture that collects a lot of light. Now, the more light that it can collect, the faster the shutter speed that you can use. Now, if you have the money, a 1.2 lens is great for Milky Way photography, but the downside to a 1.2 lens is they tend to be on the pricey side. That being said, get the fastest lens that you can afford. You can do, friends, you can do a lot with a 50mm 1.8, and it's funny because before this video started, I have a 50mm 1.8. Honestly, I can't find where the hell I did with it, but that thing was like 200 or 230 bucks. Compare it to the 1.2 here. This is like $2,300. So you can see there's a bit of contrast here. Now, the focal length that you get is really up to you. Now, some people like to go with wide angle lenses for the Milky Way photography, while others like a more standard or even a telephoto view. Now, I use my Canon RF 15 to 35 2.8, which I'm pointing to because that's where the R5 is right there, and I get good results with that. But it's a little bit on the spendy side of lens, so I've included a couple cheaper options and some focal length options in the description below, so be sure to go down and take a look at some of those. Now, I hate to be Captain Obvious with this, but you need to get a solid, you need to keep your camera still, so you need a solid tripod. Now, I prefer to use the tripods that I use. I have a Pro Media Gear Series 34, and I also have a Series 42 tripod, as well as this little guy right here, which I'm sure you guys have seen. This is the Peak Design Travel Tripod. Now, these are all fantastic options, but they are also a little bit on the pricey side. Now, what I've done is I put a link to some budget-friendly tripods in the description below that will give your camera the stability for long exposures that are required for photographing the Milky Way. Now, remote is essential for Milky Way photography because it allows you to fire your shutter without actually touching your camera. And this really helps ensure a nice sharp image. Now you can use this is a knotted up wired option right here, or you can actually use a wireless. Now, the prices of these things are all over the place. Surprisingly, this wireless one, I think I paid, it's either $29 or $49. And I forgot what the actual Canon wired one. I know this one was definitely a lot more. Now, you can see what's available for your specific camera on sites like Amazon and invest into something that fits your needs and, more importantly, your budget as well. I encourage you to jump over to Amazon and you'll see there are a ton of options. Milky Way photos require long shutter speeds, which means your camera will be operating for a much longer time frame. Now, the last thing you want is to spend all this time planning for your photo shoot, only to get out there and find that your battery dies after an hour. Yeah, that's not going to be good. And the same thing goes for memory cards. These things are going to fill up much quicker with the larger file sizes, so man, it's not going to hurt to have at least a couple of these things or a couple spare ones on hand. And memory cards are, I get it, batteries can be a little pricey these days and sometimes you have to wait for them. But memory cards, fortunately, they've gotten pretty inexpensive. And again, I'm going to put some links, especially to the memory cards. I'll put some links down below as well. Now, the Milky Way is beautiful, but if you add foreground interest to your shots, that's going to be much more interesting of a shot. Now, the foreground interest can be really anything. It can be a building, it can be a stream, a rock formation, you name it. Try composing a shot of the Milky Way arching over a subject as well. The results can be quite dramatic. The point being here, you're going to hear me say a couple times, or probably a few times during this video here, is don't be afraid to experiment. Now, taking Milky Way photos is a lot of work late at night, so you want to maximize your return on your time by investing into photos from different angles and different points of views. Take shots with different foreground interests. Try taking some shots with some artificial lighting illuminating the foreground. Heck, utilize some shots with some take some shots with a wide angle lens and then try some with a zoom lens. Again, as I said a moment ago, not to be broken record here, just get out there and experiment. By doing so, you're going to create a nice collection of images rather than going home and looking at all your shots and they look identical, which is not a good thing. Have some variety is going to be a good thing. Heck, you may walk away with a handful of shots that look really, really interesting. To get a sharp image, put your lens in manual focus mode. Now here on this Canon 1.2, here it is, as an example, and I believe some of the other lens manufacturers are pretty much the same. You'll see up on the top AF/MF. So just simply slide it over to MF and boom, you're off to the races. Now use the LCD screen on your camera to zoom in on a bright star. Then simply turn the focus ring on the lens until the star is tack sharp. Now, which is usually when the lens is focused to infinity. Now, determining the camera settings for your shots can be a little bit on the tricky side, but the 500 rule can be used to simplify things. Now, assuming you're using a full frame camera, the 500 rule states that the shutter speed you should use will be 500 divided by the focal length of the lens. So if you're using a 14mm lens, you divide 500 by 14, which is 36-second shutter speed. This is the longest shutter speed that you can use without star trails in your shot, which is important for capturing the Milky Way. Now, this is actually actually a very detailed subject, so I put a link to a thorough tutorial to PhotographyTalk on the 500 rules. So you can actually learn more about this. Actually, there's several resources linked in the description for your convenience. Don't assume that your first decent shot that you take will be the best one that you capture. Friend, take plenty of shots. And I know this seems Captain Obvious, but man, I'm saying this for a reason. Adjust your composition, change your camera settings, and here we go again, experiment. The more you put into your capturing your images, the better the shots that you'll get of the Milky Way. Friend, things are going to be dark. Bring a headlight, bring a flashlight, bring a chair to relax in and take in the night sky. Have warm clothing. Heck, even if it's summertime, it can get quite chilly at night. Bring food, bring water, bring the necessities as well that you're going to need. Be like the Boy Scouts and just simply come prepared. I'm telling you, the more you put into planning, it's going to be much more enjoyable. Now, obviously, I can't go in details in every aspect of Milky Way photography in a short video like this, especially if we nailed that 5-minute mark that I was hoping to in the beginning of this video, which I don't know how close we are to that.
Not even close, bud.
But anyways, you've got a good list of the foundations to build on and move forward with. Be sure to check out the resources listed in the description below so you can learn even more about photographing the Milky Way, and be sure to let me know how your Milky Way photography adventures go. And friends, that is it for this beginner Milky Way tutorial. I hope you find these tips and tricks helpful and towards getting out there and taking better shots of the night sky. Now let's switch gears and talk about our current giveaway. Friends, these are the prizes that we have this time around. We have a Manfrotto Pro Light Reloader Air 55 bag. We have a 128 gig SanDisk SD card, and of course, the $100 Adorama gift card. As always, entering our giveaway is really simple. Step 1, like this video and subscribe to our channel. Step 2, leave a comment below. In fact, the more of our videos that you watch, you leave a comment on, the more chances that you have to win. So get watching some more of the videos and leave some comments. Step 3, register on PhotographyTalk and introduce yourself in the forum. Now, if you happen to register on the site during one of the last giveaways, you're still eligible to win, but friend, as I keep saying over and over again, swing it by, post some photos. We would love to see how you're doing. And that is it. For complete details on the giveaway, including how to register on PhotographyTalk or how to say hello in a forum, check out the description below. Good luck. And one other thing, if you enjoy this sort of content, be sure to head over to PhotographyTalk, sign up for an account. It's free to do so, and it gives you access to literally thousands of photography-related articles on the site, including news articles, camera gear, photography tutorials, and much, much more. So take a moment, sign up for an account, and get access to materials that will help you take your best shot. And friends, boy, that is it for me here today. As always, I really enjoy getting in front of you folks every single time with these videos. Now, of course, that time of the video where I'm going to ask you to do all that YouTube stuff that is oh so valuable. So if you found some value with this video, do me a favor, crush that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button if you're currently not subscribed, and hey, so therefore you don't miss a single video like this one right here. Hit that bell so therefore YouTube's going to notify you every single time that we come out with a video just like this one. Friends, I'm going to be jumping out of my studio here, so you get out there, stay healthy, and take your best shot.